I'm Anthony Forrest, the president of Steel Cod, and I'm here with John Beresford, our VP of Sales, ready to discuss all things appliances. All right, John, here's another Power Index surprise, which if you don't know what the Power Index is yet, shoot me an email at anthony@steelcod.com and I'll let you know what it's all about. But for those that do, it's really interesting that we're looking at some outdoor statistics and we're seeing Coyote grills showing up around. Now for me personally, because I was in builder sales, I didn't sell a ton of outdoor, but I can say I was a
Mhm.
little surprised to see them in a lot of statistics. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be surprised to see how much weight they actually have in these conversations. But they do. They show up. They're showing up a lot in conversations with customers on projects and all that. It doesn't get talked about like a lot of the top brands that are out there, those top of mind brands. And I guess probably because it doesn't really carry that same perception. But look, I mean, when something is showing up this often, right, this consistently, it you have to understand it's not random, right? It's not luck or anything
Right.
like that. It's filling a role in the category that, people aren't really acknowledging, I guess. But, it's one of those things when perception and reality don't match. I mean, that's kind of where you learn something, right? I think both of us were a little bit surprised in terms of these guys showing up as often as they did.
It's interesting the way you put it instead of a gap in the category, because outdoor, it's kind of almost from region to region. You think of outdoor kind of differently. But in terms of categories, indoor, we're always saying, mass premium, affordable luxury, luxury, outdoors isn't considered the same way. So what do you mean by the gap that it's filling?
Yeah, I think that you just alluded to it right there. I mean, outdoor grilling really gets framed wrong, I think, from the very beginning. Most people see the category, honestly, if you're going to ask them, in probably two tiers, right? So you have like the ultra high end guys, your statement brands, your aspirational builds that are out there. And then kind of everything else below it gets lumped in together, right?
Right.
And the assumption is if you're, not at the very top, well, then you're compromising into this just big clump together step down, and I think really that's how it gets positioned and talked about every day. And that's not how it actually works, because outdoor kitchens don't all live at that same level, right? They don't have the same budget, they don't have the same expectations or the same level of use. So forcing everything and kind of shoehorning it into like the top versus everything else framework immediately kind of distorts how that category really behaves.
All right. So before we redefine how outdoor categories work, where do you see where Coyote fits and where it should be in the conversation?
Yeah, I think they're right in the middle. In the middle is the part that nobody ever really talks about, right? It's not an entry level product, and it's not trying to compete with any of those ultra luxury brands that we talk about all the time. It's not a status chaser really, but it's also not really cutting corners. It's just one of these middling products that's like highly capable, well built, super accessible, and look, if I was talking about an indoor product that way, you'd probably be like, "Ugh, geez, like, so, should say something better about it." But honestly, that combination is really hard to find out there in outdoor, because most brands understand that there are really kind of two leveling tiers out there and they try to chase one of those things, and that's why I think this is just so unique and it's worthwhile to call out because like I said, most brands do push in one direction. They're leaning into luxury or they're in like more that price bracket, type of thing. And Coyote doesn't do any of that. It just kind of stays right in that middle ground where it performs well enough to be really taken seriously in a conversation, but it really doesn't create friction in a project in either way. It's just kind of easy in the way that it's positioned.
So it's interesting that we set the thing up with this episode up with that we were surprised to see that it was in so many conversations.
Yeah.
Now we just gave all great reasons of why it's in the conversations. So we really shouldn't have been surprised in the first place, right?
I don't think so. I mean, it just kind of fits. I think that's the simplest way to explain it. It's probably the lamest way to explain it too. And it doesn't really do the category. I mean, the product as much justice as I probably could. But really, I think explaining it this way just really shows how valuable it can actually be. Outdoor kitchens vary more than almost any other category, right?
Right.
I mean, it's because it's different spaces and different budgets and different levels of use, like we talked about earlier. And look, some people are going to use them all the time and cook constantly, and other people are going to entertain just occasionally. And some people live in environments where they can't do that all the time. And some people just want the space to really kind of just have that complete outdoor experience. And what's great about Coyote, and this is where I will start building up the brand a little bit better, I hope, is just they work across all of those scenarios, right? It's strong enough that it doesn't feel like a true compromise when somebody does actually use their grill on a consistent basis and they do want that complete feel of an outdoor kitchen. But it is flexible enough that it really doesn't force the entire project to move around it, like some of these big name brands that we do talk about all the time. And I think that's why it does keep getting brought up. It's certainly not the biggest, flashiest, loudest option that's out there, but it's one of the easiest ones in outdoor to make work in pretty much any scenario you can think of.
So do you feel like that with this category, the way we're talking about it here, we talk a lot about qualifying and qualifying the customer and whatnot. Outdoor ends up being different just because it ends up being different. Like you said, the considerations, it's
Mhm.
that ultra premium luxury or everybody else. And so the qualifying is almost a similar experience where it's kind of like, okay, I'm here for indoor, outdoor. First question, what's your budget? All right, if it's 5 or 6 figures, then we go over here. If it's under that, then we go over here, and that's it. It ends there. So what sort of
Yeah.
questions should these salespeople be asking where with the answers point you to Coyote? Like, it just makes sense to go there.
It's a funny question that you ask. What I would it's funny because it's really just usability. I mean, that's where these guys win, right? So if you think about it in that space, right? We're not best in class, we're not top of market, we're not in the nothing compares kind of stratosphere like a Kalamazoo or anything like that, right? That's not the lane that it's in. It's it's really trying to be the most usable option in any level of product that you're trying to do. So it would have to be questions around there, right? I mean,
Mm.
so if somebody's doing a real outdoor build and they have a real budget and, those types of things, this should really be a consideration, and shame on me for not realizing how much it is in these conversations on a day-to-day basis. It's it's got a real balance to it in terms of performance and cost and practicality. So I think as you start to qualify them and you realize that they are top of budget in terms of what they're willing to spend out there, but they're not they do want something that makes a little bit more of a statement piece. I think that this really strikes the perfect balance out there, and that's a little bit of a different kind of a win than what we're used to talking about out there, because I think that the vast majority of salespeople do say, all right, if you're not high end, then we go down to the Webers of the world, kings of the world, and even the Napoleons enter that conversation at that point, right? I mean, and it's just there's this middle ground that nobody's really attacking, and Coyote just kind of slips right in. So I think as you start to evolve in that conversation outdoors, and understanding where those wins are, and they just want something that kind of strikes the balance of everything, that it is something they do want to use on a consistent basis. It's certainly not going to be a showpiece, but they want to make sure that it's a complete experience. Coyote really does fit the bill.
So do you think, the Power Index really tells us information of what's happening today or in very
Mhm.
recent history? It shows later history if you want that, but it's really showing what's currently happening. Do you think that if salespeople do a better job qualifying outdoor customers, that you would see an increase in Coyote and conversations?
It's interesting to point that out because I'm really curious myself, and I'll have to start asking this question: is Coyote being a fallback option to a luxury tier that they're not doing a good enough job explaining the benefits of getting into that true tier and they're landing there, or is it truly they're bringing them up from that entry level conversation? So,
Mm.
what's interesting to me is, are we seeing a change in terms of, at least from a recommendation standpoint, on how these outdoor kitchens are actually being built, right? And how they're being talked about? Because if you only listen to the way the category is positioned, you'd think everything is pushing towards the highest possible outcome, right? That everybody is trying to reach that top tier or
Right.
whatever. And that's really not what's happening here, right? A lot of these projects seem to be focused more on balance, right? With performance and price and usability and how the space is actually being used. And again, Coyote just strikes that perfect balance here, and that's why it's showing up. I mean, it's obviously a good performer. And I think that it's being correctly positioned, but I think it's being talked about so much right now because it is really striking that balance, and there aren't too many brands, that, you can kind of truly say, "No, this is a true kind of middling kind of a competitor that's out there right now." I mean, a lot of these guys are striving to be positioned higher and are trying to, kind of scratch at the heels of the Lynxes and the Hestons of the world and wanna try to vault themselves up into that category, and Kaido's just like, "No, I'm fine here," And they're kinda getting the scraps of whatever's falling down from that luxury conversation, and they're also getting those, ones that are walking through a Weber lineup and have that customer that's like, "I just want a little bit more," And Coyote's obviously doing a really good job of establishing themselves right in that middle tier, and that's why they're being talked about so much. So it's really
Makes a lot.
interesting.
It is really makes a lot of sense to me. We're here to see if there's any changes over time. Check it out. The Power Index. Again, Anthony at steelcod.com. Thanks, John.
Best tool in the industry. You got it.
For sure. We drop a new episode every day of the week, including weekends. Don't forget to rate and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.